This video has been 2 years too long to make. I meant to make this video. I have a very specific question box that I put up on my Instagram, December 18th, 2021. A lot has happened in the last 2 years, and I just truly didn't have the energy to nourish something like a YouTube channel. Now I am in a spot where I am ready to just devote more time and energy into something like YouTube. And so here I am making this video. I might look a little bit tired. That's because I've been working nonstop. And so it is what it is. I have the time and space today to make this video, and so I would rather show up messy and show up tired than not show up at all and have it be another 2 years until I do this. So here we go. I wanted to create, actually before I get into that, my name is Aaliyah. I am a holistic nutritionist, exotic dancer, and officially a certified life coach. I just finished 6 months of schooling to become a life coach. I'm very excited to dive into this industry. It's kind of overwhelming because I have mega imposter syndrome since I have been through a lot of different things in life, for sure, for 26, especially the last couple of years. And so I definitely have some insight under my belt. And now that I have schooling, I have that as education as well. I don't want to get off track here actually, but yeah, I'll make a different video about imposter syndrome. Okay, so the premise of this video is to talk about exotic dancing. I put up a question box on my Instagram, as I mentioned 2 years ago, just asking what you guys would want to know, what kind of questions you have around it, because yeah, I'm very vocal about dancing and I love talking about it. I love sharing my experience. I love sharing experiences in general and just overall connection. So I just wanted to see like what curiosities there were, because stripping is a very it's not taboo. It's just people don't really understand it, and there's a lot of interest there. I get so much interest, particularly from females wanting to become dancers, wishing they had the confidence, wishing they could, but they're scared of what other people might think. And so they love hearing about it because it's just like this. I think every woman secretly wants to be a stripper. Like if you look at like when women get the chance to dress up like pretty like sexy for the night, you know, it's empowering, and it's like stripping is like Halloween year round kind of. So who doesn't want that? And so many girls want to be an actress. It's kind of the same thing, just naked acting. But anyway, so I love talking about it. I love sharing. I know that there's a lot of questions around dancing. So I put up a question box a couple of years ago and I got a lot of different questions, and so I'm going to answer them now, and this is going to be one of many videos. So here we go. Okay, so question: how your family reacted and has hopefully accepted your decision to dance. I did make a video on this already. I have one video about exotic dancing from like a year and a half ago. But I will just kind of cut to the chase on this. My family was very supportive, but I told my family in incremental timelines. So I've been a dancer for 5 years. I told my mom within the first 2 weeks, and my mom was like, I thought you would do something like this in your life, and I'm glad it's this. So my mom responded quite well. She also knew the establishment that I was working at, like knew a few people that worked there. So there was sort of a safety there. And then I told my younger brother and my sister a couple months in. They were very supportive. They were like, okay, cool, whatever. And then I told my older brother 1 year in, not 4 years in, 1 year into dancing. And I remember he was like, you're gonna tell me that you're pregnant? Or I forget exactly what he said. He was like, he thought that I was gonna tell him, he knew I was gonna tell him something big, because I had to sit him down and I was like pacing back and forth. And so he reacted really well. He was basically just like, as long as you are happy, healthy, safe, I have no judgments on this, but was very supportive. And then I told my dad a few years in. I didn't tell my dad, someone else told my dad. But anyway, my family again was just like super supportive, and basically every single one of them in their own way said that as long as I was happy, healthy, safe, that they were supportive. And I'm just really lucky and fortunate to have that, because I know not a lot of people do have that sort of support with their family, which makes being vocal about dancing really easy on my end, because if my family's supportive, I don't give a fuck what anybody else has to say or think. Okay, so how long did it take to get good at pole dancing? It seems super hard. I am not good at pole dancing. So with most strip clubs, not all, some strip clubs, you have your stage dancers, which is the ones that do the shows, put on the performance, and then you have VIP dancers, which are ones that do the lap dances. And so I was a VIP dancer for the first 4 years, and only this last 6 months to a year, almost a year now, I've been on stage. I started really slowly. I just wanted to challenge myself. I am a very shy, naturally shy, introverted person, so doing stage was something that really scared me. I literally, my digestive system was not okay for the first like 6 months of doing stage, because I was so anxious before going on. Anyway, that's TMI, but yeah, I am not that good at pole dancing. I'm still really learning, and the girls that I work with have been doing it for years and are incredible. When I say incredible, I mean Cirque du Soleil incredible. And it's intimidating, and I'm really new at it, and so I feel like I'm now a newbie stripper, even though I've been doing it for 5 years, because I just started doing stage, and it's a completely different ball game than just doing the lap dances. You're putting on a performance for 20 minutes, you are doing tricks, you're dancing on the floor, like you're in the middle of the room. And particularly the establishment that I work at, the girls are good. It's not just shaking your ass, it's talent, and it's yeah, like I said, it's intimidating, and you know, I have total imposter syndrome still, and I've only been dancing on stage full time for the last 3 or 4 months, and so I'm really just learning. And to answer the question, I'm not that good yet, but it is just practice and repetition and asking questions and challenging yourself, and I'm still learning all of it. I'm not that good yet, and that's okay. I will be. How awkward is it when and if people you know come into your club? Not awkward at all anymore. Knock on wood though, I haven't really had any awkward encounters. I think there's a few layers to this as to why. Number one, I am really secure with the fact that I'm a stripper. I just am. I wasn't at first. I used to hide in the change room when people I know would come in. I grew up in a small town, and everyone likes to talk, and so people found out I was stripping right away, basically. And so I've just kind of gotten over it, and it was really easy to get over it, because it was like the Band-Aid was ripped off fast. Two, though, I haven't really run into somebody that I feel awkward around if they came in, but I think the only people I'd feel awkward around would be family, and my family knows that I work there, so they will absolutely not come in unless I'm the one bringing them there while I'm not working. So yeah, the only other people that I think I'd be a little bit awkward around would be like siblings' friends if I was on stage. That might be weird, because my siblings' friends are like kind of family. So again, though, they know that I work there, so I don't really think it's actually awkward at all, and I think I've just gotten over it, the awkwardness. How it affects your romantic relationship. So I was in a relationship for 2 years, and all the while I was dancing, he was very supportive. With that being said, there was times where it was challenging for sure. Something might happen at work, I would have to, you know, have a conversation with him about it, and like, just, you know, you can't control other people, especially in an establishment like that where there's alcohol involved. Inappropriate things are bound to happen. They will be disrespectful. There's a lot of boundaries that have to be put in place in the strip club, and so especially when you're in a relationship, you have to have that ultra alert and consideration for your partner to make sure that they're comfortable. So it's really just comes down to communication, and my advice is if your partner isn't supportive in the very beginning, if you want to dance or if you're dancing, they're probably not going to ever be supportive, because it's a very touchy thing, and understandably so. So yeah, I was while I was in a relationship, he was very supportive, and it was just kind of easy. So I was lucky in that regard. How do you negotiate another's energy and their misconceptions? I don't know if I totally understand this question correctly. What I think you're saying is, how do I help people understand what I'm doing? And if they don't understand, how do I like combat their assumptions about me? And the answer is, I just don't. If people want to assume the worst, they can assume the worst. People go off their experiences in life. And so if someone's had a bad experience at a strip club, if they've been ripped off, if they have had other like extra things that happen at strip clubs, at certain strip clubs, that they automatically assume happens at every strip club, I can't change that. All I can do is share my experience and share my insight. And one thing that I like to say is, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. People don't take that at face value. That's not on me, that's on them. All I can do is share my experience, and if people accept it, great, and if they don't, then that's not on me anymore. How did you find the confidence to start? What's the initial starting process like? I didn't find the confidence, I just went with it. I was so insecure. I have been shy my entire life. I just actually put up an Instagram post about this yesterday. I have been really shy my whole life. I've been a people pleaser. I've cared a lot about what other people think about me, and it all came down to wanting to belong, not feeling like I had a voice. And not feeling like I have a voice is something that I have struggled with my entire life. I shut down. As a communicator, my automatic want is to refrain, shut down, and just freeze. And I know this about myself. And so it's something that I've really had to work on, and dancing has really helped with that because of the kind of boundaries that you have to put in place and the backbone that you have to build. You can't care what people think and say about you if you're dancing. You just can't, because it will destroy you. It will affect the amount of money that you can potentially make. It will affect your self-esteem, and you won't last. And so if dancing is something that you want to do for whatever timeline that is, and you want to make the most of it and monetize as much as you can, then you cannot care. You just can't care. You have to pretend that you have the confidence, or honestly, like over time, you will just slowly start to build it. And I do believe there's a resilience that comes with working in an industry that most people frown upon. There has to be, because you have to, or you'll feel compelled to have to explain yourself time and time and time again. And after so long, you realize that you don't need to justify your actions. You just have to make sure they align with what you want. And if they do, then great, and keep going, and do not let anyone deter you no matter what. That's what I have to say about that. Okay, next question. There's a lot of comments, just comments, not necessarily questions. What is it actually like working in the industry, and how do you balance both jobs? So what it's like working in the industry. When this particular person asked, how do I balance both jobs? As I said, I'm a nutritionist. So I have online clients that I work with during the day, and then I work at night. The balance act, I'll answer first. It really just depends on how much I want to work. Right now, I'm working 6 nights a week, super full time. I typically do 3 weeks on, 1 week off. And so I take on way less nutrition clients when I am working this much. If I wasn't working this much, if I was going more part-time, which I was for a long time before doing stage, I would then, again, take on more nutrition clients and just work a little bit less at night. What it's like actually working in the industry, it is, in a few words, it's fun. It's never a dull moment. It is demanding. You have to be alert. For those that don't know, I am 100% sober. I haven't had a drink in 6 years. When I say sober, I try to use this word lightly, because I think saying that you're sober sort of insinuates that you potentially struggled with an addiction, a previous addiction, and I personally never have. And so I tried to tread lightly using the word sober, because I just never really got into drinking in the first place. So I just kind of wanted to explain that, because I don't want to speak on something that I don't fully understand. And so when I use the word sober, I really just mean I don't drink. So as I was saying, it's very fun. Dancing is very demanding, and it can be really draining, specifically because you're always working with people. If you're an introvert like myself, that can be really hard. You always have to be on, and if you're not on, people notice, and it also affects your workflow. It affects the amount of money that you make. There's so much that goes into it, and so I would say the biggest thing is the hours are, for me, the hours are the most challenging part. I usually start between 9 and 10, and I go till 3 in the morning. And so every single night, 6 nights in a row, 1 night off, 6 nights in a row, 1 night off, it catches up with you. And so maybe I'll make an entire video on what it's like working in the industry, specifically, because there's so much I could touch on with that. But to give you an idea, fun, demanding, potentially draining, but very worthwhile, and again, like, never a dull moment. There's always a story. Something comical is always happening. Liberating is a word that I want to use as well. How do people treat you differently when they find out? What do they do? Now, I don't necessarily find people treat me differently, but I think that's because the way that I approach it is so assertive and so sure of myself. And if you're not ashamed of what you do, then no one can really say anything about it. I think there's like different parts to this. I think on one side, because I'm so, this is what I do. Oh, hi, what do you do? Oh, I'm a nutritionist and an exotic dancer. Boom, point blank. That's it. And I don't, it's not like I'm looking for a reaction with that. It's just such a natural response for me. And so people are usually pretty intrigued when I tell them. Before, when I would hesitate from telling people, there would almost be like a runaround if they knew that I was a dancer, but I didn't say I was a dancer, and they didn't want to say that they knew, and I didn't want to say that I was. And so there was like this, oh, what are you doing now? And then like a weird pause, and there was just like sort of a heaviness and a weight to the question. So people don't really treat me differently now, I don't think, because I talk about it a lot, and anybody that knows me knows that I am a dancer. And so yeah, I don't find that I'm treated differently now in my personal life. But before, when I wasn't talking about it, and when I was ashamed of talking about it, people would try to get me to talk about it, and they wouldn't be direct about it. They would basically just pull threads, seeing if I would speak up. And then when it comes to how do people treat you differently at work, that is a whole other video that I can make about how people treat you as a stripper, as a dancer. People can be amazing, and they can be absolutely horrible. I'm not even gonna get into it, but that's a whole other video of how people treat you, like realistically treat you as a stripper. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave this video here. It's 20 minutes long. If you're still watching this, I applaud you. I really just wanted to kind of dig into this because there's so much I have to say. There's so much insight that I have to say. There's so many stories that I want to share. If you guys have any questions, I'm thinking about also making a video on OnlyFans, because I've done OnlyFans now for a couple of years, on and off. And some people have questions about that as well, understandably so. It's a totally different ballgame than dancing, but also very interesting, and tons to talk about with that. So any and all questions, please comment down below, and I will make sure to get another video up and running shortly. I'm not 100% sure what I want to talk about in the next one, but I will put some thought into it and do my best to get it up in the next week. So thank you guys for watching, and again, any questions that you have, anything that you want to know, I would love for you to comment below, and I will talk to you soon.